It kind of seems like the clock ticks faster the last half of August when parents and their students get in gear and get ready for school.
Well, healthy fast food is kind of an oxymoron, I mean, isn't it?
You know, the tasty fast food business,
there you
more
go.
like it. You just got to stay away from it. Two teenage boys are in custody after an overnight standoff in suburban Cicero. Protesters and promoters of the back-to-school boycott continue the fight to get the attention of Chicago public school students. I have to confess, you know, in the interest of full disclosure here, I've owned 3 Chihuahuas. Ed Kern proving that you are smarter than a 5th grader if you read the answers ahead of time, I guess. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety's new crash test results are out this morning, and it looks like small SUVs are getting safer. Skies have cleared up, at least for this picture. Right now, good morning, everybody. It's Sunday, August 19th, and I'm Vince Gerasole in today for Suzanne Lemignot.
It was nice to actually see Michigan Avenue this time looking at it.
The fog was covering a little bit earlier, folks.
CBS 2 News starts right now.
New at 6, Jamaica braces for Hurricane Dean to hit as the United States takes action in case the storm hits here.
2 New York firefighters are dead after a blaze near Ground Zero.
And look to the skies, the Air and Water Show takes flight, thrilling crowds with more high-flying acrobatics planned for today.
With the cloud layer hanging pretty low on this Sunday, August 19th, I'm Kristen Hartman.
And I'm Vince Gerasole in today for Suzanne Lemignot. It looked really great how the clouds were covering part of the skyline. Throughout the night it rained, and we want to know, are we going to get a break today, especially if you're headed to the water show? So let's get started with Jeff Taylor and CBS 2 Weather Control. The magical answer, Jeff.
Good morning, Vince.
Elsewhere in headlines, 2 New York firefighters lost their lives fighting a fire near Ground Zero. A 7-alarm blaze tore through the Deutsche Bank building in Lower Manhattan. The building was damaged on September 11th and had been vacant since then. 2 firefighters were killed. At least 5 others were hurt. Apparently, hundreds of apartments nearby were evacuated out of fear that the structure might collapse. Remains of more than 700 9/11 victims were found on the roof of the bank building. Overcast skies and rain didn't keep hundreds of thousands from craning their necks for one of Chicago's breathtaking summer traditions. CBS 2's Katie McCall has more on the first day of the Chicago Air and Water Show. You'll probably want to leave the car at home if you're heading to the show today. Thousands are expected to crowd the lakefront for the Air and Water Show. The best view is at North Avenue Beach. Also, if you're heading out to watch the Air and Water Show today, don't forget to take your radio because our own Chris Habermel, who you saw smiling so much in Katie's package, will be broadcasting live from North Avenue Beach on News Radio 780. So tune in and get all the details about the show, plus insight and interviews with the experts.
He is a Renaissance man, let me tell you. Jumping out of planes.
And I bet he'd know to bring an umbrella today. You got to bring an umbrella. We're really looking at a soggy forecast, as Jeff was telling us. It rained a lot overnight, so if you are headed out to the Air and Water Show, it goes on rain or shine.
Yeah, they just fly at a little bit lower level, and it might compromise the stunts that they do a little bit.
Bring some plastic to put on the beach, too.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a little bit wet on the ground.
Well, did you know people are not the only ones who can catch a wave?
That's right. Up next, we'll take you to a real surfing safari where everyone wants to be the top dog.
Helpful hints to spend less while shopping for school supplies.
And then in medicine today, antibacterial soap sounds healthier, but it may do more harm than good. It kind of seems like the clock ticks faster the last half of August when parents and their students get in gear and get ready for school. CBS 2's Dorothy Tucker has some helpful hints now to make sure your wallet doesn't suffer from this year's school shopping trip. CBS 2 is a proud partner with the Chicago Public Schools, helping to remind students to be back in the classroom when school starts. Classes are back in session for Chicago Public School students on Tuesday, September 4th, so if you haven't already, mark your calendar. 2 new studies in the American Journal of Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine show how bad air impacts young, healthy adults and children. The first study from Taiwan shows just 2 or 3 days of exposure to pollution can cause changes in artery function, heart rate, and blood pressure in young, healthy adults. But once exposure lessens, the changes disappear. A second study from Mexico finds long-term exposure to high pollution levels impairs the growth of lungs and lung function in children.
Well, healthy fast food is kind of an oxymoron, I mean, isn't it?
You know, the tasty fast food business,
there you
more
go.
like it. You just got to stay away from it. Your dog could soon be your dinner companion at outdoor cafes.
But first,
we keep those cuddly animals coming your way, don't we? For more on the turkey, vulture, or any other animal at Brookfield Zoo, remember CBS 2 is always on at cbs2chicago.com. Just click on Pets and then click on Brookfield Zoo.
Wingspan is impressive, but man, a face only a mother could love on that one, huh? Get used to the cloudy skies. Jeff tells us how long we'll need to keep the umbrellas out.
Plus, the back-to-school push is in full force as administrators encourage families to make education a priority.
Harsh words from Mayor Daley about the mortgage crisis in the U.S.
And when is a haircut not just a haircut? Go inside a unique barbershop offering much more than a trim. These are conditions that you see along Michigan Avenue. It has been raining an awful lot overnight, but the skies have cleared up, at least for this picture. Right now, good morning, everybody. It's Sunday, August 19th, and I'm Vince Gerasole in today for Suzanne Lehman-Yo.
It was nice to actually see Michigan Avenue this time looking
The
at it.
fog was covering a little bit earlier, folks.
I'm Kristen Hartman. Keep the umbrellas out. The rain is sticking around for a while.
Drivers who use iPass lanes, even though they don't have the transponders, might find a surprise in their mailboxes soon. Tickets are being mailed out to people who don't have iPass accounts for violations going back as far as a year now. Tollway officials stopped mailing the tickets last fall when they switched contractors.
We were checking out a barbershop like no other.
And then still coming up this morning, this week's Pause for Pets, we're going to introduce you to Tiny Teddy. You see him there.
Tiny Teddy, how
Plus,
cute.
we're getting advice on dealing with separation anxiety. It's time for our weekly Pause for Pets, and this little fella here, Tiny Teddy's already putting a smile on my face. He is up for adoption today. We're going to talk about that just a little bit later. But first, we'd like to welcome Audra Shottich with us. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And we're going to, now, Teddy is what? We think he's like a Chihuahua Terrier mix,
maybe
something
a
like
terrier,
that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But just as cute as a button.
Cute as a button and great personality.
That's right.
Yes.
I have to confess, you know, in the interest of full disclosure here, I've owned 3 Chihuahuas, and I currently have Connie at home right now. And we're going to talk a little bit about separation anxiety, because I know my Chihuahua at home has a little bit of that. But explain for our viewers exactly what that might be.
You might notice it when
And so what's the best thing we can do for a dog that's suffering that way?
the best.
Now, we've been visiting with Tiny Teddy here. There's an adoption event today where
Yes.
if anybody is just just falling in love with that beautiful face there, they can meet Teddy.
Yes, he's going to be at Blooming.
All right, a lot of folks are worried about the weather today. We're going to check in with Jeff Taylor now. Are we still going to see rainy skies for the Air and Water Show, right?
Yeah, I think that we
Hey, talk about cutting edge. A haircut at the place you're about to see is not just a haircut.
Sunday morning correspondent Bill Geist has the story of a barbershop unlike any you've probably ever seen. There's a lot more ahead today on Sunday morning.
For a preview of other stories, let's check in live with Charles Osgood. Good morning, Charles. It is back to school time, and Jean wants you to write him a little essay, a little homework for you. That's up next in our Sunday commentary.
But first, here are some ideas for something to do this weekend.
flash flood watch in effect tomorrow morning.
All right, thanks, Jeff, and thank you for joining us.
We'll see you at 10.
See you later.